A very, very good evening, everybody. Welcome along to Combe Racing League Tier 3. We are here for Season 5, race number 12 on the streets of Singapore. Last week I was joined by Chimp. Tonight I'll be joined by another very special guest, my teammate in Tier 4, up the Aston Martin. Welcome, Matt. Had to get it in there early, didn't we? Oh, aye, definitely. No. It's a long night, isn't it? It's a long night when you're on your own. Especially at Singapore. No. It's going to be very fun, and of course you won here on Monday in the Tier 4 race. Oh, I've been told, Matt, we can't hear you, mate, your voice sharing is not on. I'm glad we got that in early. Can you go in the party settings, I think, mate, and sort of, I don't know how you do it. I think you in the party settings and it's something, allow voice sharing, is it, or something like that? I'm glad someone's told us early, we're not sat here for an hour and no one's told us. Well, Matt has a look at that. We're on board with Drone, who's on his first lap. Drone, of course, a Tier 4 driver. He's actually mine and Matt's rival in Tier 4, which is quite convenient. He's an Alfa Romeo driver, and Aston Martin are quite close to Alfa Romeo in the Constructors' Championship. We'll go over the Constructors' Championship shortly, but Drone reserving tonight, and he's joining us tonight in the Aston Martin, so we'll see how he gets on in Q1. Have you managed to sort him, mate? Any luck? I think it's in the actually within the. Are you on the PS4 or PS5? I thought you might have been on with you. You've had a few podium interviews, haven't you? I thought you might have been on. Oh, then again, it's not in parties though, is it? It's on Discord, isn't it? Then like they do it on Discord, don't they? Now I think the podium interviews. No, you're okay, mate. Sorry, you take your time. Drone has invalidated his first lap, so not the greatest start to Q1 for the reserve driver. We'll go through, as I mentioned, the constructors, the driver standings, the results from last week, etc. Throughout qualifying. I've been told by the drivers, of course we can't check whether, but I've been told by the drivers that we are expecting some form of rain in the race. So I'm sure me and Matt will be enjoying that as commentators. They probably won't be enjoying that, but I'm sure we will be. And it'll make the night even longer. It was an hour race. It was just short of an hour on Monday in the Tier 4 race. There was 2 safety cars, I believe, and a little bit of drama, as you'd expect on a street circuit like Singapore. So it was an hour long race, and with rain tonight, you probably expect it to be even longer. So get comfy. Let us know if you're in the chat. We'll give you a bit of a shout out. And William Gaiman, the reserve driver, setting the best time so far in the early stages of Q1 with a 37.1. McConey just short of him with a 37.7. The rest of the grid yet to set a time. Is Jack Bowie on track, our championship leader? No, he's not at the moment. He's still in the pit. Strauss also in the pits. So we'll have a look. Who's on an outlap then? Is Cole Paradox near the pits? He's not far, so we'll stay on board with Cole Paradox, who also is one of our contenders. How are we getting on, mate?
Right, I've allowed share your voice in the settings.
Can we hear him? Someone in the stream let us know if we can hear him. And then we'll, I don't want to carry on talking to you if they can't hear you, because it'll be pointless, won't it? Let's just wait a minute. I can hear you. Hey! Right, I'll start again then. So let's just start again. Thank you in the chat for letting us know. Thank you to my missus in the chat who let us know actually. Not all heroes wear capes, so thank you.
Mrs. Hedgehog.
Mrs. Hedgehog's in the chat as always. She's there on Monday as well. It's like I swear there's loads of like girlfriends in the chat on a Monday watching us lot. Like Mark's girlfriend's in there. There's another one as well. I can't remember who else is in there. There's another one. It's like a bit of a clan they've got together now, watching us on a Monday. Oh, Craig was just like, is that on track? Oh, is that on the straight? I think it's on the straight near the pits.
It might be, I'm not too sure.
There's an Aston Martin of Maslow's that's going into the pits, and I think it may be on track. I can't get a good angle of it because there's no one near. Actually, there's a Haas now coming round. That's got to, yeah, and it is on track. Yeah, Craig on the last corner spanned the car. He has set a time, but of course that time is pretty much gone now. So he's out in Q1. Right, Matt, let's introduce you again then. So of course,
Yes.
He's a tier 4 driver. He's my teammate, the formidable Aston Martin team, and he won here on Monday. Matt, thank you so much for joining me on commentary, mate.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to be here, and yeah, as I say, I couldn't leave you to do the full Singapore weekend all by yourself. It's a long evening, so yeah, it's a pleasure to join you as my my Aston Martin teammate. Of course, we're sat racing green in the commentary box. We won't be biased, we promise.
We'll try not to be. We'll try not to be. Get it in there now and then, though, won't we? I'm sure.
Got muzzles. Right, there we go. That's
it sounds so weird saying go drone because he's our rival.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, what's he doing here? Yeah, well.
I swear we're right behind Alfa Romeo, or maybe even above Alfa Romeo now in the constructors. I'm not sure because of Monday. I'm guessing we probably jumped because we got a few points, didn't we, on Monday?
We did.
But I'm not sure. I'm honestly not sure. But he's helping us lot out tonight, so hopefully he can get some points for us. We'll see. Yeah, but as for Monday's race, we'll touch on Monday very quickly. Of course, Singapore known for being a very, very long race, and it was just, I believe it was 59 minutes on Monday night. There was 2 safety cars, no rain, but according to the tier 3 guys, we are getting some form of rain. Apparently it's going to dry, wet, dry, which will definitely mix the race up a little bit. As a commentator, you love that, don't you? We love that as a commentator. Yes. Yeah, I've been told dry, wet, dry tonight in the race. So that
we've had Bezan Puck has just had a major moment in Sector 1 there. He's caught it, but I think he has clattered the barrier big time. He's done well to catch that.
I was saying McConaughey's also retired, but I would imagine that's in the pits because he set a pretty solid time there. I can't see any sort of yellow flag on track, so I'm guessing McConaughey's very confident already in qualifying here, thinking, do you know what, I'm through, I'll retire in the pits. On Monday in qualifying, Matt, you started, where was it, top 3? Was it top 3 Monday?
I think it was P4, I think it was, yeah.
Was P4?
Yeah, just outside the top 3, yeah.
Was you on the softs or mediums? I can't even remember.
Yeah, I tried mediums, but the lap, I think I was dropping to like 7th, 8th, 9th, so okay. Yeah, I had to go out in the softs because I didn't fancy starting in the middle of the pack, as it were, so I played it safe on the softs.
I did the complete opposite. I started on the mediums. I was told to do a medium hard, so I went on the mediums, did a lap, and the lap was really sort of, I mean, it was poor. I kept dropping and dropping and dropping, but I thought to myself, softs don't last very long, do they? They're about 5-6 laps on this track, so I thought, we'll ride it out, and no matter where I start, I'll get on with it. I wasn't planning on starting as low as 15th, but it happened. Luckily I managed to bring home, it was 4th on the night, he's dropped to 5, which I think from 15th I'd take. It's always a tough one as well, especially I said Singapore. It's such for me, the thing with Singapore is, you can go anywhere, can't you? One little touch, one little slip up, you're in the wall. There's no room for error, is there, at all?
Exactly, yeah. It's a really tough, it's a long race as well, so you've got to obviously be as focused as possible. And there's one thing I noticed as well, I keep your strategy as open as possible. Yeah. Because, I mean, I was going into the Grand Prix thinking one stop, but then there's going to be safety cars. You can't really put your money on it being a certain 1 stop, 2 stop, so just keep your strategy wide open and just try to adapt to whatever the hell happens on track.
And especially tonight, if we are due some form of rain, of course only time will tell, but if it's rain slap bang in the middle of the race like we're being told, that's really going to mess people's strategies up, that, isn't it? Because obviously you don't know what's going to come. It could come early and expected, it could come late and expected. It's going to be in the back of your mind. I mean, I know as a driver myself, if we had that weather in our race on Monday, I'd be a little bit worried because it's going to mess your strategy up a little bit, isn't it?
Yeah, you've just got to just try and take it as it comes and play it by ear and just try and adapt to whatever happens, try and time your pit stops, and I guess maybe hope for a bit of luck as well. You know, if the weather comes at the right time and the rain drops at the right time, it could change the race. So
100%.
It could be anybody's race. This, if it is going to be wet, it could be anybody's race.
I mean, I got a bit of luck on Monday with a safety car late on. You need that little bit of luck sometimes, don't you, throughout the season? My luck was on Monday when I think I was 11th on Monday, 10 seconds behind the car in front. My race was pretty much over, and then I think lap 25, the safety car come out, and then it saves you. You know, you need that. I mean, it's like real life, isn't it? You need a bit of luck throughout the season. And my luck was on Monday, and I'm sure that someone else might get a bit of luck on Monday, who knows. But I think it evens itself out throughout the season. I think everyone gets a slice of luck at some point. Mine was on Monday, thank the safety car. I don't know who crashed, but whatever it was, thank you.
It was Spider Rob.
It was
right in front of me.
Yeah, it was Spider Rob. Yeah, I remember.
Spider Rob. He ghosted through his crashed car, ghosted through mine, and I jumped back because I'm glad he ghosted.
Yeah, you forget sometimes, don't you, when people ghost.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a worry.
Yeah.
Bit
But
of
it
a
saved
worry.
my race as well because I had a pit lane penalty for crossing for speeding.
Okay.
So I was able to serve that 5 seconds,
Get it done.
rid of the penalty, and then I was on the softs as well because I'd stayed out that long and I'm praying for a safety car to come, and then it was just game on for the last 5 laps. Like it couldn't have timed better for me if I'm honest. So yeah.
There has been another DNF. It's the Alpha Tauri Jacko, but I'm seeing no yellow flag, so I'm guessing again it's in the pits. But he's not set a lap, so I'm a little bit confused as to where Jacko's retired there. I don't know if you can see anything, Matt, but I can't see anything to indicate that he's DNF'd on track there.
No, me neither.
There's also a
no sign of
there's
that.
a big spin as well. Murphy's gone and he's hit Mazzles, and there's been a 5-place grid pen for the Aston Martin and Mazzles. You can't write that, can you? To Aston Martin commentators,
no.
and already we've had a bit of a bad moment. I don't know what happened there between Murphy and Mazzles. I have a feeling from what I saw that Murphy span. Mazzles has come around the corner behind. I might be wrong with this, I don't know for certain, but I think Murphy may have span. Mazzles has come around the corner behind him, obviously hit him, and they're given a pen for contact, which of course is very harsh if that's the case. I may be wrong with that, I'm not certain. But it's a big blow for Mazzles. And already here we've seen in Q1 a lot of incidents. 2 cars, not including McConey of DNF. And you don't want to be getting a grid pen, do you, in Singapore? You do not want to be getting a grid pen in Singapore at all.
100%.
Anyone you got your eye on, Matt? Because I know that you watched did you watch last week? Did you watch last week's race?
Yeah, I've been keeping up to date with Tier 3, and yeah, the top 3, I mean, it's an unbelievable championship, isn't it? Strauss is, I think Strauss is on a mad one, isn't he? I think he's won the last 2 or 3 races. So.
That's right. Yeah.
It's,
well,
I think he's catching up to Bowie, isn't he? So, I mean, it's coming to a really, like Tier 4 actually, it's coming to a good conclusion. There's 3 guys fighting for it in this tier as well, which is really exciting. And
of course, only 4 races to go, including tonight. Every point matters now. It really is becoming to that point. I mean, throughout the season, every point matters, of course it does. But when you get to the last 3 or 4 races, it really does start to... It's make or break in it, and one little mistake, you could see it tonight. I hope not for the sake of the top 3. I want it to go down to the wire. And I want to go to the last race I think the last race is Brazil, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's Brazil, and I want us to go there with it wide open between all 3 of them. But on a track like Singapore, it's very easy to go against you, and you could see a big twist tonight. Strauss at the moment is quickest with a 36.7 Q1.
I'm watching Bowie at the moment. He's obviously not put a lap in yet, so under a bit of pressure, I think. 3 minutes left.
Definitely
hasn't got a time in. The last thing he wants is to be knocked out of Q1.
No,
or some crazy mistake. So yeah, fingers crossed he can. I'm sure he will. I'm sure he'll put a lap in. It's good enough to get him through at Q2 at least.
I'm sure he will. We had a comment in the chat from Riordan, a fellow Tier 4 driver, and he's put, what am I seeing here? 3 crashes in Tier 3, you'd never be Tier 4, would it? So the Tier 4 boys are out in full force tonight. 2 of us are here, 1's in the chat, I love it. And Riordan, of course, got a podium here on Monday. He was superb on Monday night, and a very well-deserved podium for I think it's who's he race for? Is it Alpine? I don't think it is Alpine, actually.
Did he drive for Mercedes?
Is it Mercedes?
I think it's Mercedes.
I should know. I think you're right with Mercedes, actually. I think it is Mercedes, actually. Well, mate, if you're still here, let us know. I think it's Mercedes. I said Alpine. He's put love you too. 2 minutes to go in Q1. It is Mercedes. You was right, mate. It's good job you're here, isn't it? Good job you're here. And Bowie on a lap now? What, is he invalidate? Is this his first lap now? Was that an outlap he was just on?
It might have been an outlap, yeah. Maybe this is
it. Oh, hang on a minute.
Yeah.
He's now pitted on my screen with an 11-minute 47 lap. I don't know if you can see that as well. I mean, that's a long lap. That's a very long lap.
It's very slow, isn't it?
And the concern is, if he is in the pits, there's 2 minutes to go. He's not going to get back out unless he gets out now. And that's really strange. Is that a glitch? It looked like a glitch to me. Cause on my screen, he was on the track and he didn't even go into the pits. He just glitched him. And at the moment, he's out, which is a big worry for him, especially when Strauss and where's Cole Paradox? Cole Paradox is 4th, so his rivals are both through. But I feel like he's been a little bit unlucky there. There's no way he's set an 11-minute 47 lap. That's impossible.
No.
Unless he's walking around the track. Yeah, I don't know about that.
Yeah, I hope he's not been dealt a real bit of bad luck there. That would be really harsh on his title fight at the moment.
Yeah, you don't want to see that. Like you say, I mean, I mentioned bad luck. I meant bad luck on track, but you don't want to see any sort of glitches or errors or connection issues that's going to ruin your season because you've put so much effort in throughout 10 to 15 races for that to happen. And I hope that, I mean, there's obviously some form of glitch there because there's no way you set an 11-minute lap. That's just ridiculous. But he's in the pits and he's not going to get into Q2 here. So this could be regardless of what's happened, it could be a massive, massive twist. He's just messaged me actually saying the lobby's screwed for me. I'm starting last. So he's starting last. There's nothing he can do, man. And that's the both AlphaTauris dead last, which I'm sure if you're an AlphaTauri fan, AlphaTauri driver watching this, you're not going to be too happy about that, are you? That's a concern.
So unfortunate that.
Yeah, it's a shame that you don't really want to see that. But of course, nothing we can do about it. I mean, it's a long lap, Jack. Was you walking round, mate, or? Oh, he's asked for an invite. Could you try and invite him for us, pal? If you could try and get him back in.
Yeah.
I'm guessing because he's lagged out, that's maybe why he's had the issue with the lap time. I'm not 100% certain, Jack, but we'll try and get you back in, mate. And yeah, that's really unfortunate. You don't want to see that. So you've got a 3-horse race for the title. You don't want to see one of them getting screwed over by the game. I know there's a lot of issues and glitches with this game that people are not happy with, myself included. And yeah, I know if that was me, I'd be really annoyed. It's kicked him out twice and it's his third time having to rejoin, he's telling us here. If you have put something in the stream, by the way, in the chat, please send it again. I've not been rude, I've just genuinely not seen it because I've been trying to focus on what is on the track. So if you are in the stream, pop a comment in, say hello, and we'll give you a shout out as Q1 comes to an end. We'll go through the championship standings, the race results, and the constructor standings, as well as a bit of the background information on this circuit in Q2. As that Roland comes round, I think this is a lap. It is a lap. Can he improve on his time from 6th? No, he can't. He'll stay 6th, but the McLaren comfortably into Q2. JB.
Sent Bowie an invite, so hopefully he gets that.
Brilliant, thank you. Leon putting let's go in the chat. The Ferrari of Leon into Q2. And a bit of a tough season, Leon, in terms of qualifying pace, and he'll be really impressing himself there, flying into Q2. Pretty comfortably as well there in P8. Pheasant Tucker pulls into the pits. It's a really tough pit entry as well, this one. I noticed that on Monday. I know you mentioned you got a pen in the pits, didn't you? Speeding penalty.
Yeah, caught me out, yeah, it did.
It's tough pit entry, though, isn't it? Very tough.
Yeah, it comes at you from, it's really awkward because it's an hour pit lane anyway, but it's also a quick turning on the left, so if you overcook it, you can also just go straight into the pit entry, like the wall.
Yeah.
That's happened before, you know, you can actually DNF just by going up the pits too quickly, so yeah,
100%.
You're best taking it really cautiously and just playing it safe.
I know. Absolutely. I did on Monday. I just sort of stepped off. It may have cost me a couple of seconds, but I'd sooner that happened than hit the wall, or 'cause you're going to lose that time in the pits, aren't you, if you get damage or you get a penalty. So I just sort of stepped off and just eased it round rather than rushing it. That's Q1 over with, and unfortunately, seeing our championship lead have a couple of issues there. That means he's going to be starting, I believe, 19th. Let me just double check that. I think it was Mazzles, of course, getting that 5-place grid penalty as well. He's into Q2, Mazzles, but he'll have to do something pretty impressive now if he wants to try and stay towards the front with that grid pen hanging over him. And there you go, JB's out. Craig and Williams saw him go into a wall. He's out. Drone, the reserve tier 4 drivers, out. Jack Bowie, of course, with that issue out, and Jacko didn't set a time out as well. So both AlphaTauris starting dead last together here. As for the other two, towards the top, Strauss, the quickest in Q1, and Cole Paradox, the 5th quickest in Q1. And that's Q1 very quick, that, to be fair. Q1, pretty quick. Let's see what happens in Q2. Who's your favourite pole, if I had to ask you? If that's a sort of quick answer. Who do you reckon?
Well, I mean, you look at the form he's in and the time he's just put in there. Strauss is looking pretty quick. I mean, 4/10 clear there.
Yeah.
And I think now that his championship rivals, unfortunately, out in Q1. I mean, you could argue it's his pole to lose, really.
I agree. He's the inform man at the moment in the tier, and I'm glad you mentioned it because he's sort of come out of nowhere in his last few weeks and just sort of took it by storm. He was unreal last week in Austria. Interesting qualifying this one, and I think you could see a few here on the mediums starting, because ideally, and obviously we don't know what the weather's going to be like. The weather could come later, it could come earlier. We don't know that, but you're going to want to start on the mediums here, I think, if you can, rather than the softs, aren't you?
Yeah, if you can get away with it, definitely. But like I say, try planning for a strategy around this track, especially if it's going to be wet. I mean, do you want to just stick the softs on and just get the best start you can? I mean, your guess is as good as mine, Hedge.
Leon said wet race, but obviously we don't know when that rain's going to come. Is it going to come at the start? Is it going to come at the end? Or, I mean, that's the one thing I wish this game had had, that we can check weather as spectators. I don't think it's a big thing to ask. I think it should be something that's pretty simple. You know, you should be able to click a button, view the weather, and it'd make our job as commentators a lot easier. But we're talking about Codemasters here, aren't we? You know. Oh, there you go, yeah. Matt. After 5 minutes, apparently. So very early. So maybe the softs are the one to start on then.
Yeah, you've got to.
But then again, what if the game screws you over? It don't come after 5 minutes, it comes after 10 minutes, then you start. It's horrible, isn't it?
Yeah. This is what we've got to be. This is what we've got to look forward to. We
did Austria, didn't we? And it was a similar sort of thing, weren't it? It rained at the start, right? But it was on dry tyres. It was really strange.
Yeah, that was horrible.
Yeah, I agree. Was it 9-10 laps? It was on the softs in the rain.
Yeah, it was. To be fair though, everyone did pretty well. I mean, considering, you know, a lot of guys going into turn 1, turn 3, it was quite clean, to be fair.
Yeah, it was.
I mean, if that was to happen here, good luck keeping it out the barriers, that's all I'm saying.
Yeah, Austria's a little bit different to Singapore, isn't it? Tiny bit, not much. Tiny bit different. Yeah, Leon, if you could send us the weather, mate, that'd be great, because it'd give us both an indication as to, you know, what we're working with here. William Gaming has just invalidated on his outlap. Whether that'll affect this lap, I'm not too sure. I know that sometimes it can affect this and next lap, can't it, when you invalidate, so I'm not sure whether that'll affect this lap. However, he's not got any indication here to say that lap's been cancelled, so I think he's on a lap now. We mentioned last week a couple of times. I'll quickly go over the race results from last week. Strauss won, of course. Matt mentioned that. He's the informed man in the McLaren at the moment, and probably one of, if not the favourite for the title as it stands, but I'm sure that Cole Paradox and Barry might have something to say about that. But Strauss won last week.
Left the session.
It says it's saying a few have left the session here. JB's also just left. Cole Paradox just left. This is a concern. Lobby restart. Oh, I've been told it's a lobby restart short quali, apparently. I'm not sure why.
What's happened there?
You don't get this in Tier 4, do you?
No, you don't get this in Tier 4. What's going on?
I'll have a quick look in the Discord to see what the issue is. Apologies if you're in the stream. It won't be a cone race without a little bit of drama, would it? The only concern I've got now is that whenever I go into a lobby on this game, it ends the stream, so touch wood, we don't have to restart the stream. Hopefully it'll be okay, but if it does end, rest assured we will restart it and we'll get back on for the qualifying. But if it cuts off, don't panic, we'll be back. But I have no idea as to what... Because it's going to affect strategies and all sorts here, and the people that have DNF'd in Q1 are going to get another chance, so I really don't know... Will
it just reset everybody to do a short quali? Is that what it'll... Oh, will Q1 just start?
I'm just looking in the... Nothing's been said in the server, I'm just trying to figure out...
just had a Ferrari spin as well.
In my opinion, and obviously I don't know what's happened, if people have lagged out, fair enough, but surely the people that were out in Q1 don't get a chance in short quali. In my opinion, personally, you know, you're out, and maybe someone like Jack has been a bit unlucky, maybe, but I don't know. I've been told lobby restart because our championship leader has glitched out. I mean, fair play to the rest of the tier if they've agreed on doing that for Jack, and then that's great.
Yeah, if they've all agreed on that, then that's
watching go and win now. Go and win now from pole.
Yeah, Strauss will be sat there going, "Damn it!"
No, I mean, what I would say is though, if you're another driver in Q1 and you went out, you're a very lucky boy there because you can get another chance. And I mean, I'm not going to say any more than that. You know, I'm just a commentator, but you're going to get a second chance there. And also, if you're someone like Strauss, I don't know. I mean, it's a tough one, that. I mean, I'm sure you'll get people who agree and disagree, and some people will be chuffed, some people are not. I mean, a short call is going to impact on strategies massively. I don't know about that, but either way, we'll roll with it. We'll see what we get given, and yeah, welcome to commentary, Matt. Your first one, mate. I mean, we didn't even get past Q1, did we?
We're starting for a third time. Yeah. It's a shame it won't restart with Q1 but
I mean, I can understand.
At least it's.
Yeah, I mean, I can understand why.
The race and it's reset.
Yeah, I mean, I can understand why, because, you know, your championship leader lags out, it's nothing he can do about it. I mean, if that happened to me in Tier 4, I'd be a little bit annoyed as well. I mean, I'd be very annoyed, in fact, but I don't know. It's a strange one, this, and then I have no information as to what's happening just yet. But we'll bring it. Yeah, we'll just sit here for now and sort of wait for any indication. And I have nothing really much we can say about that. What I will do very quickly is actually we'll go over the current. I was mentioning the race results for that. So Strauss won in Austria last week. Cole Paradox was closely behind him, and Jack Valley was third on the podium. So the top three in the championship all shared a podium last week, and that shows how close it is between the three of them. It was a great race last week in Austria, a lot of drama, and quite a few DNFs as well. But the top three all sharing a podium, which is what you want to see, and it leaves the championship looking like this. Jack Bowie is top on 261, Strauss and Cole Paradox both joint second on 245. So 16 points separating the top three, which is, yeah, it's pretty close, Matt. 16 points is not a lot at all, and I mean, Little Asset on a track like this, which on paper is probably the toughest track left on the calendar, I would say. A little bit of a slip up here, and your championship could be, I wouldn't say over, but you don't want to be losing ground on the other two, do you?
No, I think what you've got to do is just try and get a solid result. Just try and stay in the race. The last thing you want is a DNF.
I agree.
think if you get a DNF and your championship rival gets 40 points, then
it's a big gap in it with 3 races to go.
What's that? 50 plus. I mean, you're going to have to win every race and hope that your championship rival. Well, that's it. That's what you want to see. These three have got to. You know, they've got to be at the top of the game. They can't make a mistake. They've got to try and beat one another. And what worse track to try and not make a mistake around than Singapore? I mean,
100%. It's probably one of the toughest
wins
circuits on the
is
game.
going to deserve it.
100%.
Yeah, exactly.
There's a lot of other battles going on around the grid as well. It's not just the top three, of course. Top three is a priority. But there's a lot of other battles going on. I mean, for the battle for P4, that Rowan's 18 points cleared Marconi in the battle for P4. The battle for P8 between Jacko Murphy and Leon is just 6 points separating them. So there's a lot of battles on track. Gautier is 3 ahead of Mazzles in P11. So there's a lot of battles still to go. I believe there's a maximum, my maths isn't the greatest by the way, but I think there's a maximum of 164 points, I believe. 4 races to go, 40 points for a win, push fastest lap, that seems about right. So I think it's 164 points maximum to grab from these 4 races. So technically speaking, if you're dragging on speed, the actual man, McConey, that Rowand, that Rowand, you're not out of it yet. The top 3 could be in every race, you could win it, who knows? Anything can happen. That's why we love F1.
Anything can happen.
Anything can happen, that's why we love F1, but yeah, when the top 3 are separated by 16 points and 2 of them are joint on 245, it's going to be very tight and probably go down to the wire in Brazil, but I feel like tonight could make or break it for 1 or 2. It's the confidence as well, isn't it? Like I said, if you win a race like this, the confidence you get going into Bahrain next week, especially if you're Strauss on this ridiculous run of form, you're going to keep going, aren't you?
Yeah, you've got to keep going. But I mean, if you're one of the other two, you've got to try and stop him, because if he's on a roll. Someone's going to have to try and stop that momentum, because if he keeps it going, then it's his to lose. And Bowie must be feeling under some, like, Strauss is breathing down his neck right now. So yeah, I think that's why part of me would like to see if Bowie can get back into qualifying. I think that would be nice, because if he can get up there with Strauss around here, the racing between them could be absolutely awesome. If they're fighting for the lead, for example, could be awesome.
With a little bit of news, with a bit of breaking news in terms of the lobby, I've been told it's going to be a short qualifying session. Whether you like it or not, some drivers will love it, some probably won't. I won't give my opinion because it doesn't matter. But yeah, it's going to be a short qualifying session that will be sorted out in the next few minutes. As for the weather, it's going to be dynamic. Now again, some may agree, some may disagree. I personally think it should be custom weather and put it back as what it was. But I'm a commentator, so I would say that if I was rating, I'd want it dry. So it's going to be a short qualifying session, 18-minute, one-shot type of quality sort of thing. No Q2, no Q3. It'll affect strategy, I have absolutely no doubt. But whether you like it or not, that's kind of where we are. And it's going to be dynamic weather, Matt.
Shame you can't change that, actually, to revert it back to Q, like full qualifying, but
anyway,
what can you do?
dynamic weather as well, so maybe we won't get any rain now, who knows. But apologies for the delay, and if the stream does cut off now, there's a chance it might do. I hope it doesn't, but if it does, we will make a new one and we'll be back for quality, so don't panic if it goes off. But that's where we're up to. It's a bit of a shame, like you say, because, you know, I do like a full quality, especially on a track like Singapore. You like seeing the strategies, and especially when rain was due 5 minutes into the race, it would have been really good to have seen that play out. But, you know, these things happen. That's Codemasters for you, and there's not really much that we can do about it. But, you know, that's F1 for you, isn't it? You know, these things happen.
I still think we're going to be in for one hell of a race anyway, to be fair.
Yeah, hopefully, watch it be a full wet race now.
Yeah, I know, yeah.
You know, it's funny because, like, as a commentator, you view things so much differently. If I was a driver now, I'd be saying dry race, no rain. But as a commentator, you want a bit of rain. You just do. You know, it makes it fun.
I can't wait to see. I mean, keep it on track and out the barriers. My God.
We're going to go into short calling now. It's going to be full wet. So the umbrellas will be out in the stands. No, we'll see, and we just got to wait for an invite now, and apologies if you're in the stream and you're sort of waiting. Not really much we can do about it. In theory, it'll be a shorter night now, would imagine, because obviously we'd have to go through Q2 and Q3 then. Probably going to be a little bit shorter. In terms of qualifying the race, I have no doubt it'll still be a very long race, and there'll be a lot of drama, and we'll see the safety car probably 2 or 3 times. How many DNFs are we going for, Matt? What's the prediction? 20 cars on track? Get to make a prediction.
That's a tough one. I don't want to obviously, you know, like, see, these guys are all good drivers, but
you don't know which anyone, do you? But if you had to make a,
no,
I'm going to say 7.
I was going to say 8, so we're not. we're quite close. I mean, there could be 2 or 3 on the first lap, you know, and then. Yeah,
it's all about getting away well in Singapore, isn't it? You want to be on pole. I mean, look, you want to be on pole on every track. But what I mean by that is, if you're on pole in Mexico, for example, there's a good chance by turn 1 you could be 4th or 5th. Whereas it's such a short run down here, you just want to avoid the chaos, don't you? Get away.
Absolutely.
If you're in the midfield, you've always got risk of a bit of contact, and that's not what you want. Yeah, we'll see what happens. But a short qualifying is an interesting one now, because, like you say, it sort of takes away the strategy a little bit. You know, that Q2 that was going into then, I think we'd have seen a few on the mediums, a few on the softs. You might see a few on the mediums now again, depending on the weather, of course. You might see full wets, who knows. But yeah, I think it'll definitely mix it up a little bit, and yeah, we'll see what happens. We're just waiting for an invite now. There's not really much more we can say.
No, I mean, to be fair, you know, it's a risk going on the that's the thing. If you can get pole on the mediums, then fair enough, go ahead and do
100%.
it. But if everyone's forced onto softs, then everyone's tyres are going to be falling off a cliff after a few laps.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we might see the whole grid pretty much going in for a pit stop at the same time, which could cause chaos. You know, do the teams double stack?
Yeah,
Does the guy behind his teammate have to go out for another lap on a wet track with softs? I mean, it could still throw up an absolute crazy first couple of laps, and yeah, like you say, it could be wet. If it's a wet quali, then it's anyone's pole, isn't it?
It is 100%.
That would be good.
And I think what's big about this race, well, when you've got 3 boys fighting for the title, you know, it's going to be so. I have no doubt that all 3 of them will be in the mix for the win here, 100%. But the point I'm trying to make is, if 1 or 2 of them slipped up, and you can take advantage of that and get a win here, you're going to be looking at, like you said earlier, 50 points clear, or, you know, it could be 50, even maybe 60 points clear, depending on what happens. It's a big gap with only 3 races to go, and I feel like, listen, next week in Bahrain something could happen in Russia or in Brazil, but this on paper looks to be the biggest challenge here with what's left. It is probably the toughest track on the calendar that's left, or at least. Yeah, probably I'd say the toughest track on the calendar with what's left. And one little mistake tonight into a wall, or like you say, it could make or break it. And that's the pressure of F1. But when you're in a title fight, that's what you've got to deal with. It's pressure, isn't it? And like you say, if you can get away well, you know, get pole's crucial, I think, here, or as close to pole as possible. You don't want to be in that sort of midfield, do you? Because it's hard to overtake on this track.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm gonna give you a little compliment here as my Tier 4 teammate. that's why I think you and AFL as well. To be fair, you both had a really solid drive in the Tier 4 race. You know, 4th and 5th, both. You know, well, you didn't get a penalty, which you happened to never get a penalty. You did the cleanest drive I've ever seen. But yeah, both of you guys obviously fighting for the title in Tier 4 Singapore. You both just got a solid result, and if you're one of the title contenders in this, and you're not, you know, you're in 7th, 8th. Do you want to risk it? Do you want to throw it down the inside to get a few more positions, or do you want to just play it safe and get some points? I mean, I'm gonna throw a question back to you, Hedge.
Oh, go on.
Who do you think out of the top three's got the most to lose around here then?
That's a great question. That's a really good question.
I'll throw one right back at
you. Most to lose. I think, and I don't want to put any pressure on any of them, but I think Jack, and the only reason I say that is because I think, and I'd have to go back to the races, I think he's been leading for pretty much all season, or he's been there or thereabouts all season, and he's still leading now. I know the gap's been shortened a little bit due to the form of the other two, especially Strauss, but I feel like he's got a 16-point gap there. It's a fair gap. It's not a huge gap, but it's a decent gap, and I think what you don't want tonight is the other two closing it even more, or maybe even getting you. I'm in a similar situation with AFL at the moment, where I recently overtook him. It's not, I mean, he's been top for most of the season. He's been superb, but last couple of weeks I've overtook him, and he's closed the gap to me a little bit now. It's like 7 points, and you start to feel that pressure. Trust me, like when he's that close to you, you start to feel like I'd sooner be in second than be in first. I mean, that sounds really strange, but I'd sooner be AFL's position now than rather be in mine, because I'd be more comfortable. Whereas now, as the leader, the pressure's on you. You know, one little mistake and you know, you could. I mean, Jack Bowie tonight could go from first to third, which is like, you know, it could happen quite easily. He could pull away and get a 40-odd point lead at the top. We don't know, but that's the beauty of a 3-horse race. And I think that I'd say Jack's got the most to lose just because he's a leader, but I think all three of them have, because, like you say, one slip for one of them and the other two get a top two. Your championship's not over, but you're playing capture party with 3 races to go. It's going to be tough. Who do you think's got the most to lose? Who would you say?
I'd probably agree with you, but I feel like Strauss, with the form he's on as well, he's on a bit of a roll. If he was to suddenly have a really bad race, or something bad was to happen, a mistake, for instance, or whatever, and it halts his momentum, you know, it might not be easy to get that back. Mm-hmm. So I think if I'm going to choose someone different, I think Strauss, he won't want his momentum to stop. He want to keep this roll going for as long as he can. And if he suddenly has a bit of a bad race, or something bad happens to him, with only three races to go, getting that momentum back again could be difficult.
Tough. Well, it happened in Tier 4 early in the season. There was a wild dog in our tier. He went on this ridiculous run where he won 4 in a row, and it was like he come from like bottom of the championship to like 3rd, and you're thinking, I was sat there thinking, if he carried this run on, and it was 4 wins in a row, it weren't 1 or 2, it was 4. Win 4 in a row was so tough, and for him to do that, I was sat there thinking, I'm in trouble here. You know, the form he was in was ridiculous, and he had a couple of tough weeks, and I wouldn't say lost the form, because, you know, anyone's going to lose form eventually when you win 4 in a row. But you start looking over your shoulder a bit, thinking, if this guy keeps on winning, and I'm sure that Jack will be thinking the same about Strauss. I think Strauss, as you mentioned, has won 2 in a row now. He's competing for pole every week, and I'm sure Jack will be thinking, if he gets another win here tonight, I could be in a little bit of trouble here with 3 races to go. And the 3 races to come are all very similar. You know, Bahrain, Brazil have a lot of similarities. You know, Russia's a great track. I really like Russia, and this is a big one for me. I think get through this, and you'll be all right. But only one can win, and I think it might not even be any of the top 3 who wins. Who knows? Anyone can win on a track like Singapore. That's the beauty of it.
Well, that's it, isn't it? A bit of luck.
I'm so excited.
Win comes at the right time, or anything can happen. I mean, for all we know, the 3 of them might be head to head going into turn 1, and something could happen. I have no idea.
That's the beauty of it. But so yeah, I've just been invited now, so I will get you in as well. Have you been invited, or do you need an invite?
I will need an invite, I believe.
Okay, I'm going to jump in now. If the stream does go off, to anyone watching, I do apologise. It may cut off. It's happened to me before, but we'll get it up straight away again, and we'll get it going. But hopefully it stays on. But if it does cut off, just pre-warning you that there's a possibility. Hopefully not, but knowing how I look tonight, it probably will cut off. Let's have a look. I'm in the lobby. It's not cut off yet. You know, we're all right. We're doing okay. In a minute, I'll just say stream ended, won't it? And I'll be like, oh.
I've got it up on my phone as like a second screen, and
we're all right for now. We're all right for now. We're all right for now. There's always something, isn't there? There's always something that happens.
It's just going to be a late night, innit? That's.
We'll still be here at midnight, won't we? I'm trying to get in. It's still saying joining session here. It's not looking very promising. Oh, Jack, don't apologise, mate. It's not your fault. It's the game. You don't have to apologise, mate. We're in no rush, mate. We'll relax us. We're chilled out, you know. It's alright. It's not your fault, mate. The game's just, we know what the game's like, though. I don't think I need to mention what this game's like. There's plenty of issues. I'm still getting joining session here, though. I don't seem to be getting anywhere.
I can see that, yeah.
A few people in the server are also saying the same sort of thing. I'm going to restart the game. There's a genuine possibility that it could end the stream for doing this, but again, if it ends the stream, we'll sort it out, so please don't panic.